Probando. Probando. See, 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 see. And I do believe that we are live. Buenas noches, gente. This is, as always, Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. With me, as always, is my co host, the redoubtable Luisa. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing great. It's nice to see the start of a new season.
Exactly. These are the inaugurales, the opening day of the 1907 season, and we begin it in the coastal conurbation where Ceiba and Naguabo, intra-divisional rivals, take on each other in Game 1 and Games 2, 3, and 4, but we're only playing the first one on stream, of the 1907 season. Both of these teams have made some changes to the roster, I would say. I think the Navegadores, in fact, one of the changes they made resulted in Ceba's starting catcher. We'll get to that in a second once he comes up to bat. But safe to say, both teams had a somewhat busy off season and spring. They were trying to put together, a roster that could compete in this new campaign. And really, it's going to be up to these two to the managers for both Harvey Burford. For interestingly, both teams managed by Anglos. Actually, the Naguabo manager, he's not officially the manager, but he might as well be, is I forget what city he's from. Harvey Burford, who is known as El Burfo for most of the Spanish-speaking players on the team, and Saba manager Matt Sparkman.
Matt Sparkman Subaru.
Incredibly car dealer ass name.
Yep.
Maybe he's got a stake in the Jimenez car company.
That's wonderful.
Exactly.
He's out there in the ads looking manic, cranking up the crankshaft of a car.
Yes, this is especially notable because the Jimenez car company is literally on the other end of the island. So he's commuting back and forth during the week.
Yeah, the ads say I'll go all the way there for you. Lots of exclamation points.
The two termini of the Jimenez car company are Aguadilla and Camuy, and both of those are Betances teams. So Ceiba
Okay.
could be playing them and will be playing them. That's kind of how the schedule works. At any rate, it should be exciting. You can see here the Navegadores in particular have a very different lineup from what we've been used to, especially. And it's not just because it's his birthday today. Ham Underwood, now the newly installed leadoff hitter, whereas Ceiba, which for years had been sending out Kane O'Leary as their opening day starter, has switched to former Rincon farmhand Uranio Mata. Incredible name. A couple years ago, they put him in the minors to start the season, and he promptly pitched a no hitter, and they called him up.
He called their bluff.
Which I think is how a baseball team apologizes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, before we read out the starting lineups and have our first pitch, today we're going to have something after almost every inning. We're going to have updates from the history of the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña, other April 1st games, which, as you will soon find out, not as common as you might think. We're going to be talking our usual commercials uh, from the Boletín Mercantil de Puerto Rico, and as we have started for the 1907 season, there will be a poetry reading during the 7th inning stretch. And yeah, we think it's going to be a very enjoyable game. But before we do any of that, we always have to start every game by thanking our most wonderful sponsor of all. Who is that, Louisa?
You are, of course, talking about Dr. Gonzalez Wood Tar Liquor. Folks, 70,000 patients have been cured over 15 years with it. Chronic colds, rogue coughs, abundant chest discharges, asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory ailments, all cured. It helps with consumption and bladder catarrh, which is inflammation. It also purifies your overhumored blood and it whets the appetite for fattening. Not to be confused with other Dr. Gonzalez wood tire liquors, except no substitutes. And of course, it's sold in all good pharmacies, especially San Juan's own Farmacia Giametti, at the corner of Calle de San Francisco and Calle de la Cruz.
I know, I would hope that everybody understands that that commercial isn't good fun, but just in case you need to be told this, if you go to what is now Puerto Rico Drug and ask them for wood tar liquor, they will not know what you are talking about and will in fact tell you to go ask ChatGPT.
I love that. What a burn. What a burn for a nuisance question. You should probably ask ChatGPT about that.
It is, yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm not going to, I don't want to, but I think if I asked ChatGPT what are the benefits of drinking wood tar liquor, well, I would give myself, appropriately for the year that we're playing, I would give myself 1907 era nutritional deficiencies and psychoses.
Yes. Although, a lot of people in colder climates would eat the spring tips of pine trees because you get a lot of vitamin C out of those.
That's how you avoid scurvy when you're cold.
Exactly.
What is it the other day? I found out, I want to say it's broccoli has more vitamin C than oranges do.
That sounds right. If it's not broccoli, it's definitely another vegetable you wouldn't expect.
I was informed that apparently oranges are just obviously more presentable and sweeter, but a lot of vegetables actually have more vitamin C than they do. And oranges are easier to transport, obviously. They have, they kind of have their own little container.
Yes, true.
Anyway, our starting lineup tonight. First, for the visiting Navegadores de Naguabo, leading off and playing center field, number 27, the birthday boy himself. From Newcastle upon Tyne, Graham Underwood. Batting second and playing first base, number 37, the pride of Louisville, Kentucky, Rob Feaster.
The Grackle.
Batting third and playing left field, new Navegador, former Ilustrísimo, and the first Russian player in Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña history, number 55, Jake Gettman.
The Tank from Frank.
The man hit a home run in the Copa Mundial, one of only 2 players to do it, and then refused to hit one all spring. I'm already in love with this relationship. Batting fourth and catching, the Navegadores' new starting catcher, number 20, apparently.
Oh no, that's wrong.
Yes, it is.
Incorrect.
From Manzanillo de Cuba, Pablo Salmerón.
Rudy John, I see his nickname is not in the list of nicknames.
He's trying to change it. He's trying to tell everybody, like, can you stop talking about my knees?
Such great knees, though.
Maybe that's why he changed this number. He was hoping they wouldn't recognize him, even though he's the only one on the team wearing catching gear.
Poor guy.
Batting fifth, the designated hitter from Pyongyang, number 23, Min-soo Kim.
Still waiting on a nickname.
Yeah, he hasn't really gotten one so far. We'll see what happens today, though. And I really should be calling him Kim Min-soo. I apologize.
Oh, yeah, it's tricky.
Batting sixth and playing right field, he's another one who needs renumbering, and I thought I had corrected this, so I don't understand what's going on. Should be number 56, Frank del Castillo.
Diablo Rojo.
From Veracruz, by the way. Yeah, it looks like all the numbers got messed up. Maybe when McKinnon got promoted, all of their uniforms just went into the wrong laundry cycle or something. Yeah,
maybe. It's a prank and they're wearing the wrong uniforms today.
Yeah, they're trying to confuse the enemy.
It is April 1st, after all.
That is very true, yes. Although, well, let me finish the starting lineups and then we'll talk.
Okay.
Batting seventh and playing second base should be number 6 from Hampton, New Hampshire. The printer's devil himself, Etaoin Shirtloo.
the font of wisdom.
Batting eighth and playing shortstop. From Calle, just a couple towns over. Shirley should be number 4. Valdez should be number 6. That's Benigno Valdez.
Benji.
And batting ninth and playing third base from Hay in New South Wales, one of the first Australians in the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña, number 11, Wally Bach.
The human ripcord.
Right, so what I was going to say is that April Fool's Day in Puerto Rico is actually,
Yes.
or the equivalent, is celebrated on December 28th. It's called Innocence Day.
Oh, man. Aren't people just exhausted from dealing with the holidays at that point, though?
I think that's why you do it then, yeah. Reduces the breadth and depth of the pranks.
Is it related in any way to Boxing Day, the tradition there being the high class and the servants switching places?
I don't know. I don't think so, though. There wouldn't have been that sort of complete social code switching. Doesn't really enter into any Puerto Rican holiday, per se.
That's fair. It just seemed like prank activity to me. I thought maybe they were related.
Yeah, maybe. It might be a way to distill the spirit of Saturnalia. Yeah, that could be the case, for sure.
I like that.
And the starting lineup for the home Picudos de Ceiba. Batting leadoff and playing left field, number 13, Francisco Vasquez. Batting second and playing center field, number 17, Julian Alvarez. Batting third and playing second base, number 12, Filoxenos Gutierrez. Batting fourth and playing third base, number 34, Menendo Tafoya. Batting fifth and catching, number 20, Kieran Anderson. You may or may not notice, the eagle-eyed among you, that last year he was in fact on the Navegadores de Naguabo.
I thought that name sounded familiar.
By the way, his nickname is the Elgin Marble.
Does he stand still a lot? I wonder.
He's a catcher, yeah.
Makes sense.
Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 23, Felipe Uribe. And he is genuinely from Elgin. That's not a joke.
Oh, nice.
Batting seventh and playing first base, number 1, Salvador Aldape. And yes, ladies, he is single. Batting eighth and playing right field, number 8, Gaspar Mendoza. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, number 39, Carlos Manriquez, who, and I'm only mentioning this because I don't think our simulator can actually do this, would appear to be heterochromatic.
Oh, that's interesting.
But that's got to be a trick of the light because I don't think the simulator's capable of that.
Maybe he's just too special.
Maybe. Pitching for the Picudos tonight, number 7, Uranio Mata. Fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, sinker, and splitter. That's a hell of an arsenal, and it's time to find out what Ham Underwood's going to do about it. The attendance at Estadio Rolando Sandoval, Ceiba's new park, is almost a sellout. You'd think for opening day everyone would show up, but, whatever. Yeah. The sky is clear, 26 degrees, wind blowing in from right. Let's see what we've got going as Ham on the 0-1 pitch. Lines it into left field where it is caught by Vasquez.
You know I love Ham's ability to steal and attempts to steal when he fails. But he's really got to get on base to be able to start doing that.
Exactly. Next up, here comes Rob Feaster. With one out and the base is empty after Ham swung at a splitter high and in. Feaster is going to take Mata to a full count before drawing his first walk of the season.
Wow.
So with Feaster on base, speaking of walks, by the way, I did some quick back of the napkin math. Underwood has drawn 99 walks in his entire career. Okay. 51 of them were last year.
What the heck? Is he getting better with his plate discipline finally?
Yep. That is correct. And here's the man the Navegadores traded away 2 of their 30-year-olds who would otherwise have to hit the bricks anyway. Vidal Santiago and Jack Catol, as well as prospect Pedro Medina, went to Humacao in exchange for this man. The sponsor for the Navegadores insisted that they get an Ilustrísimo, and when informed that, hey, we have an Ilustrísimo at home, our shortstop has won it like 3 times, his response was, no, that doesn't count.
Yeah, sounds like a manager.
Exactly. So let's see what Gettman can do with a man on first and 1 out. He's been good for about 20 home runs per year. Here, Feaster stealing on the 1-0 pitch, and he is easily there. Rob Feaster gets his first of what are undoubtedly going to be many in this coming season. With a man in scoring position and 2-0 count for Jake Gettman, still only 1 out. On the very next pitch, Feaster breaking for third against his old teammate, and he makes it.
Wow, that's bold.
Bold steal attempt there from the Grackle, and Feaster the Nor'easter safely 90 feet away to draw first blood in this game, as that fastball even went in for a called strike on Gettman. Man on third, 1 out, 2-1 count. And Gettman lines it into center field deep, and should that be enough? Yes, it is. Feaster can tag up easily and scores. The Navegadores lead 1-0 after a sac fly from the tank from Frank. And they have scored their first run of 1907. Ooh, that's insulting. I really hope that this is all a big misunderstanding, because Feaster is currently wearing what used to be Vidal Santiago's number.
Oh no, not the barber.
Yeah, I don't think this happened on purpose. I think they must have gotten, something must have happened. Maybe they got like their spring jerseys mixed up or something.
Okay. I still think it's a prank. I feel like they're prankish boys of summer.
Fair enough. Here comes Pablo Salmerón, taking over as starting catcher this year. He had a great season last year as designated hitter. Succeeds Argentine Spike Stonehand in the role. And with the bases empty and 2 outs, he goes after that first pitch, hits it directly to the third baseman, Tafoya. He throws over to first, and that's the 3rd out. Naguabo takes the lead, and now they'll have to hold it. And on the mound for them is number 4, Ted Balloon.
Balloony.
You know him, you love him. Fastball, curveball, forkball, and changeup. Ted Balloon coming off an incredible Copa Mundial where he was ruled the best pitcher in the tournament.
Ooh.
He, I believe, went into the last game as one of 2 pitchers with 30-plus strikeouts and was part of the only rotation where every member pitched a shutout. Sadly, he could not keep it under control against Puerto Rico in the championship game, but he certainly gave it his all. And here he faces Francisco Vasquez. Let's see what he's got for him. Vasquez going after the 1-1 pitch into center field. That should
right
be
up the middle.
Exactly. Big fly, but Underwood has it in plenty of time, and that's out number 1. All fastballs, all under the zone, and he's still got the trigger pull on that one. Here comes Julian Alvarez. Hits that one hard into right field. Jake Gettman chasing it down. No, pardon me, that's Franklin Castillo out there. Gettman used to play right field. He's got it. That's out number 2. Here comes Filoxenos Gutierrez. Bases empty and 2 outs for him. Let's see if he can extend this inning at all. Ted Balloon so far goes after a 2-1 pitch. That's going to split the gap against that high wall. Underwood chasing it down.
Wall. He hit the wall, I saw.
Then Castillo and Underwood cooperate there, but Gutierrez slides into second with a double as he split the gap perfectly with that bounce ball.
I mean, I know he's on the other team, but boy, I love to see a home run.
Here comes, well, this is a man who might give you one. Here comes Menendo Tafoya. Man on second and 2 outs. And on a full count, he strikes out to strand the man at second. We are through 1 inning. The Picudos get nothing and strand 1. The score remains 1-0 to Naguabo. before we head into the second, it's worth mentioning that April 1st is something of an interesting date. I mean, they all are. But April 1st in particular is an interesting date in Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña history. Why is that, Luisa?
And that is because April 1st, 1878, was the first year that games were played on April 1st, but not the first year that opening day was on April 1st. Now, in those days, opening day had to be on a Monday, in order not to conflict with Sunday as the Lord's Day, of course. The LNP could not afford to offend the Bishop of San Juan. In 1872, the second year of the LNP, opening day, or inaugurales, as it is typically known in Spanish, was celebrated on Monday, April 1st, without any games. There were no games. Instead, each team had a ceremony at their home parks where they introduced their roster to their fans. Coaches delivered statements on how they intended to deal with the fact that teams would now play 76 games rather than 38. Living right second year.
You are going to have to repeat the last part of that. The audio just completely fell off.
Ah, that's a shame because I was saying the wonderful nonsense word, so let me repeat my last sentence. Coaches delivered on statements on how they intended to deal with the fact that teams would now play 76 games rather than 38, and there was general foofarang over the league living to fight a second year.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a weird year for sure. Most of the players had been literally working on the railroads during the off season, and
All the livelong day, I would imagine.
and sometimes the night probably. But yeah, very impressive stuff because, well, when it comes down to it, yes, nobody really thought that the league was going to survive past this first year. They thought, here's this interesting experiment, let's see how it goes. And then it does survive, and it makes it to a second year, and they doubled the amount of games in a season because it's been very profitable. So suddenly you've got an actual reason for the Liga Nacional to exist. And that, I think, is where you start seeing 1872, those opening day celebrations. That was really the only year they were held, and it remains a very unique testament to the early Liga that was very protean. Every year was a
Okay,
little bit different, and it didn't really become standardized until ultimately the 20th century.
that makes sense.
All
It also
right,
makes sense that they would have a little bit of a celebration for themselves for making it to year number 2.
exactly. Uranio Mata, first inning, 13 pitches, 1 run and 1 walk. He will face Kim Min-soo, taking over as the starting designated hitter here. Famous for his power, but here he strikes out on just 3 pitches, 2 fastballs and a slider. Goes down swinging, easy peasy for Uranio Mata to get his first out of the second inning. He now faces Frank De Castillo. Let's see what he can do. De Castillo had a bit of a down year, and here on the 2-2, he swings it and hits it right to Aldape at first, who is quickly going to go back and get the out. So that's 2 quick outs for Uranio Mata, and it falls to Sherdlu to try and extend the inning. An undersung hero, certainly, for the Navegadores in this run. Sherdlu here on the 2-strike pitch flies out to left, and Vasquez, the reigning fielding award winner out there in left, grabs it. Naguabo goes down very easy in the top of the second. No big deal at all for Uranio Mata, and it's up to Ted Balloon to try and keep things here. He got
I
through
think
that.
perhaps Seba is the first team where I really like the white shoes because they have those white socks and it creates a nice effect.
Yeah, they're very. It's very classic. The fish scale white, the blue, the navy. You don't often see 2 shades of blue work well together, but you're seeing it here.
Yeah, for sure.
Ted Balloon, 15 pitches over that first inning, allowing a hit and getting a strikeout. He faces his old teammate Kieran Anderson, who was the backup catcher for the Navegadores last year, before he was traded in a big-time trade to Ceiba. I don't even remember who went to Ceiba other than Anderson. It was him. Oh boy. They got a lot of players back in return for that trade. Give me just a 1 sec because I think this is worth mentioning in its entirety. Here we go. They traded. They traded Ben Buchanan because they knew that McKinnon was going to be holding the Scottish seat. Kieran Anderson and Estras Turcios, the Honduran seat.
Nice.
And in return, they got, let's see, two Puerto Ricans named Marcos, Torres, and Gutierrez, who can play in the outfield. Norwegian player, left fielder Jens Jensen.
Wow. Creative.
Exactly. And 15-year-old Welsh shortstop prospect, Max Gardner.
Nice.
Which I think I had assumed that was his aspiration.
It makes sense.
So here in the bottom of the second, Anderson gets to take his first cuts as a member of his new team. Only Scott, I believe, on the Picudos. And here he sends that one into center field. Not quite, as it pops up over short center. And Lou has all the time in the world to get underneath it. That's out number 1. Here comes Felipe Uribe, the designated hitter. Over his career, he's received just 13 at-bats and has gotten 2 hits. So, boy, they are really trusting him to start him at the DH here. Sends it to Valdez. He has all the time in the world to throw to first, and that's out number 2. And here comes Aldape, who came over just around this time. He has been on Ceiba for literally a year and a day as of today. He was traded from Dorado on March 31st, 1906.
Wow.
Comes over the bases empty and 2 outs. On the 1-2 count, Ted gets him, and Ted ends 2 innings in a row on strikeouts. The Picudos also can't get anything going here in the second. We head to the third with the Navegadores still ahead, 1-0. Now, 1878 was the first time that games were played on April 1st, and it was not common for games to be played on April 1st for the rest of the 19th century. As mentioned, the league always had to start on a Monday, and April 1st just didn't fall on one that often. So what was the next time we see games on that date?
Well, that would be 1889. And on that date, despite getting 3 home runs from their players, the first time that ever happened on April 1st, Atijo loses 8-7 to Arecibo after Iram Rosa hits a 2-run single.
Iram Rosa was one of those 19th century players who got both the Rookie Award and the MVP in the same year.
Wow, a real prodigy.
Yeah, exactly. They eventually just straight up outlawed that. You were no longer allowed to do that, and it's not really a problem anymore. But that was what happened before developmental leagues were a thing.
Yeah, people have all different skill levels, I would imagine, coming in.
Exactly, and they were often playing in unofficial town leagues you might use. Given that, you can have year-round baseball in Puerto Rico, you would have town leagues that would play during the off-season and so on. Some of those guys might catch on with a team, and as a result, there was a Capital League in San Juan that had, it was basically a full-on minor league. It had something like 13 teams. They played each other all through November and December when the playoffs weren't in the way, which they weren't then. And eventually, that became a big source of talent. There's a reason. It's not just because San Juan and Carolina and Bayamon and so on are the big towns. It's also because they had infrastructure built up pretty quickly. So they had these municipal leagues that produced a lot of talented players within just 2 or 3 years. And very often, those guys would sign on to a team because it was obvious that they were, transcendental at the game, and they would turn out to actually be that.
That's nice. It's good to see. It's good to see the roots of the game.
By the way, Ted got that last strikeout on his changeup, the pitch he's most famous for. And here comes the bottom of the order against Uranio Mata, who needed just 11 pitches in the second inning. He's allowed an earned run. He's got a walk and a strikeout. He'll face Valdez, Balk, and Underwood. Valdez, the undoubted team captain, So he's hit 6 home runs in his career. 2 of them have been off this pitcher.
It's wild.
And here on full count, he draws a walk. By the way, he's also batting triple fours off of Mata. So he just owns this guy. I don't know what it is about Valdez and him. I don't think they're from the same town or anything, are they? No, Mata's from Carolina. Here comes Wally Balk, the Australian. Let's see what he's got. Man on first and no outs. I would imagine Benji tries to steal here. 1-0 count. It's early. And yup, Anderson cannot even throw him out.
Nice.
Valdez gets his first steal of the season. He'll be in scoring position with no outs for Wally Balk. Let's see if he can move him over. 2-0 count. Very next pitch. Balk flies it out over second base. That's an easy catch for Filoxenos Gutierrez, and he's got it, out number 1. Here comes Graham Underwood, who's 0 for 1. Comes up with a man on second and 1 out. Let's see if he can make this memorable. Now, he's got what I believe to be 2 hits in 9 at-bats against Mata.
Oh, come on. You gotta do it on your birthday, though, Ham.
1-1 count. Rolls it to first base. Who drops it? He'll reach on
Yes!
error.
Yes! That's all he needs.
More like Aldapi 3. That's a first base error. E3.
Okay. I'll allow it.
Fair enough. So, with men on the corners and 1 out, here comes Rob Feaster to try and make Uranio Mata's day a little bit worse. Let's see what happens here. He cannot hit into a double play. That's the only thing that he cannot do. He's absolutely going to do it. And I would imagine Ham's going to try for second. And, yup, there he goes, getting gunned down easily. That's Anderson's first caught stealing as a Picudo, and with 2 outs and a man on third now, they had to know, I mean, how do you, if you're the Navegadores, how do you send a guy to break for second in the most obvious break up the double play situation there is on the first pitch of the at-bat?
Yeah, good question.
Full count. Feaster flies it out into right field, and that is not going to land. Mendoza has it, and the Navegadores strand a runner. And honestly, I almost want to count Ham as a stranded runner too, because that was just coaching incompetence. So the score remains 1-0. We're still on a razor's edge here, just waiting to see which way the wind will blow. They are getting good pitch counts out of him, though, at least. That's something. So, Ted Balloon takes the mound for the bottom of the third. He's at 31 pitches through 2. 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, and he faces Mendoza, Manriquez, and Vasquez. Mendoza also getting a good count here. He hits it to Valdez. Valdez, oh! Gets him by a step. Look at that. A 4-star play on Gaspar Mendoza. Valdez running to his left, getting rid of that ball, and just by a hair beats him to first. That's out number 1. Here comes Carlos Manriquez. Why, has he always been a Picudo? It sure looks like it. I could have sworn I remember him on another team. At any rate, 1 out, bases empty. On the 0-2 count, Manriquez avoids the 2-strike pitch, but he chops it to Feaster, who's got an unassisted out at first easily, and he's gone. The batting lineup turns over, and here comes Francisco Vasquez, who's 0 for 1 on the day. Going after the first pitch with the bases empty and 2 out, and it's right back to Feaster. The Grackle is backle at first, and Ceiba goes down easy. We are through 3 innings. Naguabo remains ahead 1-0. Before we continue with the middle of the game, we are going to have another word from another of our wonderful sponsors. Louisa, the booth is all yours.
Thank you very much. Folks, I want to tell you about Don. We have learned to our great satisfaction that the young Don Enrique Berrocal, native of Puerto Rico, has obtained in Madrid his qualification as an architect. As one of 22 applicants who presented themselves for testing, from whom only 5 passed. Very exclusive. Young Berrocal is also a civil engineer from the École Centrale Paris, a distinction which few architects in Spain can boast. It is likely that Senor Berrocal will return to his country with the goal to be useful here in the exercise of his profession. His family is overjoyed, and we cordially congratulate them. That's wonderful. I wonder if there are any notable buildings that were designed by Don Enrique Berrocal. I don't know that many architects, to be fair. Me personally, I mean. I admire good architecture, but I don't know how it works. Too much math. Imagine going and studying at a place so exclusive only 5 people get in at 22. That sounds like so much pressure. I mean, clearly he's under a lot of pressure. His family has, I assume, paid to put this announcement in the newspaper. But he rose to the occasion. They're very proud of him. Must have been an exciting time. 1871. Beginning of the Industrial Revolution, you feel like there'd be a lot of architecture opportunities. Ooh, especially train stations. You can imagine him designing a beautiful train station, perhaps. We're talking about Don Enrique Berrocal and his illustrious graduation in the field of architecture from several schools in Europe.
Yes, especially if I remember correctly, the Institut Polytechnique.
That was
Or
not
École
mentioned.
Polytechnique?
Yeah. École Centrale Paris.
Central, yes. Okay.
Now, I don't know this name, but I don't know a lot of architects. Do you know of any buildings he designed?
Berrocal, no. In
Fair.
fact, the only architect I know of early 20th century Puerto Rico, and I should have looked this guy. Well, this guy would have been in the 1870s. So
Yes.
even if he had designed these buildings, I don't know how many of them would still be standing.
True.
The only Puerto Rican architect of any time around this era that I know, if I remember correctly, actually moved to Puerto Rico in 1905, and it's Antonín Nechodoma, I believe is his name. He was Czech.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there's a number. There was an exhibit a couple of years ago when I visited my parents on the island, showing his work. He's responsible for a number of very interesting, especially he did a lot with glass doors and windows, sort of
cool.
patterned inserts and so on, very reminiscent of a stained glass but less elaborate, suggesting that elegance but without really,
That sounds very appropriate for that time period. You say like early 1900s? Yeah, that makes sense.
For sure, yes. And yeah, Berrocal, I'm not sure about, especially because they mentioned that he would have also been a civil engineer, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he graduated
Yes.
in the times before civil engineers were, speaking of, ChatGPT brained.
Yeah. It must be very difficult to go and study architecture in Europe, and you're going to learn about, I'm sure, whatever materials are used in Europe, but then you have to completely rethink using materials in Puerto Rico that would be quite different, I would think.
It depends. If you were part of the Boletín Mercantil's audience, my guess is that you could get stuff shipped.
That's probably true, but I'm thinking even on the level of like stone, the qualities of different types of stone can be very different. I do know that.
Yes, and I do wonder if you're at this point, right? Obviously, you can get stuff shipped to you because, you presumably on some level you work for the colonial government.
Yes.
So Spain, if they're interested, will do all the necessary errands to make sure that whatever materials you need do get to you. But but I mean, that is a good point. If that is not what you're studying or that's not what you're doing. But that is why I think architecture and civil engineering at the time were so related. It was pretty common for a middle class Puerto Rican, a criollo, born, especially if they were born on this side of the Atlantic, to study both, because then the thought process seems to have been, you will have work pretty much no matter what.
Yeah, people always need structures somehow.
Yep, and at the time, you had to do all the math by hand, which was better. I am referencing, I am not just generalizing. The other day, a person working for a civil engineering firm straight up told me that, when they started, they used to call the math that you had to do to make sure, the bridge stays up and everything. They used to say the term they used for how accurate the math needed to be, it needed to be accurate to within a gnat's ass.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, before I get more depressed about the state of our general, world, we've got the top of the fourth, and Naguabo is still leading Ceiba 1-0. Uranio Mata had 42 pitches over 3 innings. That's actually only 14 pitches an inning, a pretty decent pace. 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. He faces Jake Gettman, who had the first run batted in of the 1907 Navegadores season on a sac fly. Let's see if he does anything different this time around. 2-0 count for Jake Gettman. Hits it up the middle, and it lands. Jake Gettman breaks up the no-hitter for Uranio Mata, and the Navegadores have their first hit. Did you realize that Mata was through 3 no-hit innings?
No, I didn't even think about it. It's probably good. If I had thought about it, it would have come down even earlier.
I was going to say, yeah, I was trying to keep it cool, not say anything. With a man on first and no outs, here comes Pablo Salmerón. Let's see what he's got. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out to third last time. Here, with no outs, there goes Jake Gettman, and he steals first. His first stolen base as a Navegador. Gettman, the complete package. Able to play defense, able to run, able to hit for average and power, and here comes Salmerón to try and drive him in. He's got 1 strike on him. Let's see what he does next. Are you kidding me?
What? They didn't even try.
Anderson apparently tried to double pump to make sure he had the ball, and on the second one, it came back on him.
Wow.
So, Anderson's catching back there. Who knows how long he'll stay a starting catcher if this is how he's doing. He is 1 for 5 in catching runners so far.
Man,
actually, he might be
rough.
now he might be 1 for 6. Yep, 1 for 6. That is exactly correct.
Wow.
Those are bad numbers. Let's see if they can get any worse. 1-1 count for Salmerón. He waits a couple pitches, 2-2 count, and that is, blocked. Makes it a full count. And for the first time, we have a stoppage of play on a full count, which means we can say the 6 words everyone loves to hear during a baseball game. This will be a payoff pitch.
Woo!
Payoff coming in. And Salmerón strikes out on a curveball. Rough go of it for Pablito, not doing so hot in his first game as starting catcher. Here comes Min-soo. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Man on third, 1 out. 2-2 count. Kim launches it into center field, and it's gone! The first home run of the 1907 Navegadores season is a 129-meter blast from Kim Min-soo. Naguabo leads 3-0.
Incredible. You love to see it.
Left that curveball a little bit too low there, and he absolutely hammered it. Look at that.
Amazing.
A 2-run shot from the Korean, and Naguabo triples their lead here in the top of the fourth. 129 meters, that is somewhere over 400 feet. I believe 125 is the cutoff for 400. Here comes Frank de Castillo. He's 0 for 1. Mata obviously got to be a bit shaken after that one. With one out and the base is newly empty. Let's see if Frank does anything. No, he strikes out too. Goes after a splitter there. Got a little bit excited, and Mata has his third strikeout of the game. So he'll face Sherdlu with 2 outs and the base is empty. Sherdlu is 0 for 1 on the day, and on a 2-2 count, Sherdlu sends that one right to Aldape. He steps on first, and that is out number 3. 2 runs on 2 hits, one of which, well, some lucky Picudos fan is currently holding in his hand. Naguabo now leads 3-0. We go into the bottom of the 4th, and Ted Balloon, 41 pitches over 3 innings with a hit, no runs, or runs at all actually, and 2 strikeouts. He'll face Alvarez, Gutierrez, and Tafoya. Alvarez 0 for 1 on the day. And here on the 2-strike count, goes down swinging on the forkball under the zone. Perfect pitch by Ted there, attracted the swing after the fastball and the changeup. Here comes Philoxenos Gutierrez, 1 for 1, currently the only hit Ceiba has, as he hit that sliding double back in the 1st inning. But here, on the 2-strike count, he goes down swinging, this time on the changeup. Ted collects strikeout number 4 on the day. And here comes Menendo Tafoya, who's 0 for 1 on the day. 2 outs, base is empty. He's going after the first pitch, looks like. Sends it to his opposite number, Wally Balk. Balk throws over to first, and that is out. Number 3. The bottom of the 4th is now over. The Navegadores remain ahead 3-0 as we head into the 5th inning. But before we head into the 5th inning, we have another little item from the history of the Liga Nacional Puerto Rican. Now, what else, pray tell, happened on April 1st?
Well, in 1895, I can tell you that in a 20-3 dismantling of Añasco that forced them to use 3 pitchers, Rincon hits 3 home runs, starting with a first pitch shot from Absalon Bonias, who proceeds to tack on 4 singles and a walk for a 5-hit game, 5-run, 2-steal game.
Absalom Bonillas is, I believe, still playing.
Wow! What a legendary moment for him.
Yeah, he was one of those guys, the 1890s for the Ingenieros for Rincon. They wouldn't have been the Ingenieros yet. Although they were nicknamed La Máquina somewhat often. But they would have been... That was where they kind of lost their way. Their pitching was still great. Their hitting was still great. They won hundreds of games. But with the exception of 1894, when they literally went 126-12, they lost 12 games all season.
Incredible.
With that exception, they beat Atillo for the championship that year. They really didn't make a whole lot of noise in the playoffs in that decade. And to this day, people say that it's since Victor Nieves retired, they pretty much never found a real captain after him. Somebody who could really tie that clubhouse together the way that he did, even when he was a backup guy or, mostly a kind of first baseman, pinch hitter type. They just could not get it together. They had plenty of great players. Alberto Hernandez won MVP and won All-Star Game MVP. I think he's one of the... Actually, in the 19th century, a lot of guys did both. But he I think, was the first Ingeniero, again, Rincon player to do both. They won a couple batting titles. Bonillas may have even won one of them. He was awesome. Pablo Brito won Ilustrísimo because he was the second baseman. The shortstop got injured. He stepped in as shortstop and, did okay. So even though he didn't deserve it, he got it for basically the degree of difficulty move. Part of the sudden onset of puberty there. But, yeah, they were a great team. And yet, despite that, they just could not put it together any year.
It's a
They
shame.
lost to Victor Nieves' nephew in the postseason one year. He was a bullpen arm for Barceloneta.
Oh boy, we love him, but he is kind of a fail nephew, isn't he?
I don't know. I mean, he did. Yeah, up until he got to the Marineros, he very much was.
Yeah.
Then for whatever reason, maybe because like batters were altering their swings or something, that should have been the end for him. Pitchers around the league were getting rocked, but for some reason, his pitching style suddenly was in very high demand.
Oh, that was lucky.
Exactly. He ended up on a team that prized developing pitchers and then turned out to have exactly the right pitches to make that happen.
Nice.
And it worked out. Anyway, here's the top of the fifth. Uranio Mata, who is at 66 pitches now over 4. 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts will face Valdez, whom you may remember is batting triple fours off of him with 2 home runs and at least 1 walk. Here on the 1-2 count, do we smell strikeout? No. It's a ground out to Mata, who throws to first and gets him out just by a bit. Mata's got to feel good about that one for sure. Here comes Wally Balk, who's 0 for 1. 1 out, base is empty, and on the 0-1 count, Wally Balk rolls it right back to Mata. He is doing a good job here controlling the running game. I guess if you're willing to, get off the mound and field, and they all hit everything back to you, then that's great. And here comes Sam Underwood. Let's see if he can finally make this happen. He's 0 for 2 on the day, 2 outs, base is empty. Underwood on the 2-2 count. Is this his time? Oh, it's a drop third strike. Anderson has to go back and get it. And just by a little bit, he's out there. The Navegadores have another bit of a squib inning there in the top of the 5th. Does it feel to you like they should be leading in this game?
It does. I don't know, underwhelmed, perhaps?
By both teams.
Yes.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Although I guess this is the start of the season, so I'm being too hard on them, really.
Well, okay. You are being very kind, and I understand this. Let's be real clear. They have played over a month of spring ball.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. That makes it a little less forgivable.
Exactly. Balloon, 4 innings pitched, 48 pitches, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. Faces Anderson, Uribe, and Aldape. Anderson 0 for 1 on the day. Balloon on the 0-2 count. Anderson takes the 2-strike pitch, hits it to Balk. He throws across the hallway to first, and that's out number 1. Good job making contact with that one, at least. I also did not realize, is Anderson no, he's not a switch hitter. He'd be listed as an S. He's a lefty. So I did not realize that pretty much every catcher in the Naguabo organization is now a lefty. Because I think part of the trade they did with Ceiba, or with someone else, maybe they traded with somebody else. No, they cut Gareth Elliott. He was one of their Welsh seat possibilities.
Of course he was.
But I believe, with that name. But
Yeah.
I believe he might be a righty. But I think almost every other catching prospect they have, including their backup catcher, are all lefties.
Yeah. Well, us left-handers are used to being underestimated and underappreciated.
That's
So I'm not
damn right.
surprised they're catchers.
I mean, look at this. Right now, there are only 2 righties here, De Castillo and Balk, because Gettman is batting lefty today.
Nice.
There is definitely a way to field an all-lefty lineup with this team. We're going to have to do it for one of these games.
Yeah, of course.
With 1 out and the base is empty, here comes Felipe Uribe. He's 0 for 1. He bounced out to a shortstop last time, and here on the 2-2 count, he goes down swinging on a fastball down in the zone. Ted Balloon collects strikeout number 5, which is Lou Bega's famous baseball song.
I can see him rewriting the song to be about baseball if
100%.
he got hired for such a purpose. Yes.
The alternate universe where he wrote that for like a World Baseball Classic. Ooh, boy.
I have to fight the urge.
Uh-huh. Are you composing lyrics? Because I am.
No. Yeah, I'm suppressing that urge. But I have to fight the more present urge to call him David Lubega, because that is his name.
Yes, I know. I think the man is David Lubega. The musician is Lou Bega, because a guy named David Lubega does not do that Bongo Bong song, that Manu Chao cover that he did.
So this is a Buster Poindexter situation, is what you're saying?
May he rest in peace, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, I do think that is, well, to be fair, he was Buster Poindexter because you can't release Feeling Hot 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 as the guy he actually was.
Yeah, very true.
That's a different thing. It's not like David Lubega is out here releasing, I mean, I don't know, maybe he is, but I don't think David Lubega is out here making death metal. And if he is, that
German,
sounds
right?
awesome. I think I could be wrong.
Is he German?
So, he is. He is.
Okay.
Somebody can correct me on this, but I have to imagine that the German death metal scene is not especially diverse.
That's true. That's fair.
David Lubega might be a little bit too let's call it what it is, a little bit too non-white for the German death metal scene, is what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, that's unfortunately a fair assessment, I would think.
Yeah. For the record, I'm replacing all the women's names with pitches. That's how I started composing the lyrics. A little bit of fastball in the zone.
Yeah, yes! Oh no! This is very good.
It's gonna be a thing now. So, Salvador Aldape with 2 outs and the bases empty takes Ted Balloon to a full count and strikeout number 6. Ceiba 3 up and 3 down. We are through 5 innings. The score remains 3-0 to the Naves. And boy, Ted Balloon is having to throw a lot of pitches for each of those strikeouts. Let's take a quick look around the league, see if anything looks interesting. Well, Humacao is currently beating Yabucoa 1-0. Vidal Santiago may have done something in that regard. We don't know. Joka Jeftic is up. Vieques beating Culebra 4-0 in the Battle of the Islands. Aguadilla and Aguada are in a scoreless tie in the 6th. That is zero shock if you know what those teams are like right now. The Cítricos are beating Lares 2-0. That is, again, not a surprise. One of those teams can pitch and hit occasionally.
One has a cute mascot.
Mm-hmm. Cabo Rojo and Lajas, also 0-0. Both very pitching forward teams. Luis Sanchez for Cabo Rojo on 7 strikeouts over 5 innings so far. Orocovis beating Ciales 2-1, but Ciales threatening with 2 outs and 2 on against pitcher Virgilio Gonzalez. Camoy is absolutely destroying Arecibo in the top of the 5th, 8-1. Arecibo is currently sitting, let's see, Eugenio Franco, Arecibo's pitcher, has earned all of those runs, has 4 strikeouts and a walk, and Mooney McGee is currently to bat, as Roberto Gomez just singled.
Mooney McGee.
Hey, Tomas Guia hit a home run in the Peñuelas Yauco game. His might be, I wonder if his or Kim Min-soo's came first.
Oh yeah, first one of the year.
Exactly. And Gustavo Dávalos, who is already injured somehow.
Oh no.
I think he missed. No, it would have been last year or the year before. It looks like it was 1904 that he missed with a labrum injury.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, exactly. So, with 2 outs in the top of the 5th, Yauco has not really been able to get anything going against him. Let's see. Salinas and Coamo tied at 1. Coamo just walked. Sandario Diaz on base. They've got 2 on. Efrain Calderon sitting on 4 strikeouts. He was a Puerto Rico pitcher in the Copa Mundial. Comerio beating Sidra 5-2. And, I didn't think I hated Sidra all that much, even after they beat the Navegadores in the playoffs, but it does make me happy to see this.
You imagine that sexy pigeon being so sad.
Right. I don't understand why you had to bring that into this.
We gotta get this branding going. We gotta understand that the two most pleasing words in the English language are sexy pigeon.
They are not. I guess this is my excuse to say that we tried to look into whether we could render our own stadia, and one of our patrones said we needed to do a sexy pigeon dome, and I immediately replied to this by doing a parody of Coleridge's Kubla Khan about a sexy pigeon dome decree.
We've got it all, folks. Baseball and culture. Baseball
Right.
is culture. Don't
Exactly.
you understand? It's all
the
one and the
culture.
same.
We're doing it for the culture. By the way, Jose Maria Tello, this is the part that makes me especially happy because a 17-year-old is failing at something he should not be doing. 4 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, and no strikeouts.
Nice.
Vega Baja beating Dorado 1-0. Cataño beating Guaynabo 2-0. Rio Grande and Canoanas are sitting in a scoreless tie. Arroyo Maunabo sitting in a scoreless tie. Avenino Saldivar for Maunabo, 3 strikeouts. He used to be on the Quesiteros. Quebradillas and San Sebastián, 1-1. Añasco and Mayagüez. Hey, Spike Stonehand's up to bat. He's 0-1 on the day. There's our old friend.
Ah.
He hasn't gotten a hit today, but he could bring in the go-ahead run here at the bottom of the 5th. Sabana Grande. I always mess that up. It's not a big blanket. Sabana Grande and Guanica are 1-1. Hector Delgado for Guanica, not doing as well as he should be right now. Utuado absolutely destroying Hayuya, 5-0 in the 3rd. They're on a rain delay. What we all expected. Prisco Nambo hit a home run for Manatí, which is the only run they've been able to score so far, although they've got 2 guys on with no outs against Luis Castro, who's supposed to be quite a good pitcher this year, but, he already gave up a home run to a guy with a power rating of 27. So you tell me. Villalba is beating Juana Diaz 3-0.
Oh, R.I.P.
2 of those runs are earned for pre-old Navegador, although he never actually pitched for them. Mora Salvo, before he became a Rey. Arjun Viperla, La Víbora, as they say, the Viper, is through 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. Hey, old Navegador Redmond Breyer is through 5 1/3 innings, a 1-run ball. Calle and Ibonito tied 1-1 in the top of the 6th. Corozal and Barranquitas tied scoreless. Toalta beating Toa Baja in the 6th. Nicodemo Ceja, who just got traded from Barranquitas, having an incredible game. 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts so far. Carolina beating Trujillo Alto 2-0. That's to be expected. Trujillo Alto sucks. San Lorenzo beating Caguas 2-0. Also to be expected. Caguas sucks.
Man.
And we've completed the cycle. So here we go. Top of the 6th, Uranio Mata against Feaster, Gettman, and Salmerón. Let's see if any of these guys are interested in getting anything going. Mata at 78 pitches over 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Rob Feaster 0-1 on the day, plus a walk. He takes Mata to a full count, and then bangs one not quite past Gutierrez at second base. He's got it, throws to first, and Feaster is donezo. Out number 1, here comes Jake Gettman. He's 1-for-1 with a ribby plus a sac fly. So you'll notice that his batting average is currently higher than his on-base percentage, because sac flies do not detract from your batting average, but they do detract from your on-base percentage.
Oh, that's wild.
2-0 count for Jake Gettman. Hits it not... Well, yeah, you could not have hit it more to the shortstop. And Manriquez goes to get it. Easy peasy throw. And here comes Pablo Salmerón, who is 0-2. Can he do anything here to extend the inning? 2 outs, base is empty. 2-2 count for Rodillon. He sends that one into right field. And that one is gone. Pablo Salmerón with a 117-meter solo shot to right field. Naguabo up 4-0 now.
Wow. So you have to tell me.
What do I have to tell you?
Are you proud of Pablo now? You're so hard on him sometimes.
I am. I sure am.
All right, good.
I don't think I've ever seen him hit one live. Oh, no, that's not true. He hit one in the Comerio game we watched where they lost.
He's trying. He's trying his
He
hardest.
is. He really is. Hey, you know what? Proud of you, Pablito. Good job.
Yay.
And here comes, let's see here, Kim Min-soo is up. He's the other guy who hit a home run in this game. Let's see if he wants to do it again. 2 outs and the base is empty. Mata flagging fast. He's sitting at 92 pitches here in the 6th. 1-1 count as Kim digs in here. No, he did not.
No.
Get out ball.
What?
Kim Min-soo has just hit a back-to-back jack for the Navegadores right to the same spot, and now it's 5-0 for the Naves. 3 home runs in this game.
How? How could that have happened? Ugh.
And the Naves are taking full advantage of Mata's increasing exhaustion. They could be twins of each other, those homers.
Yeah. Wow.
And you can see every single Ceiba player, is just demoralized.
Wow.
Salmerón and Kim, the big boys, come through here in the 6th inning. And Mata now has to shake all of that off and face Franklin Castillo, who is 0 for 2 on the day. 2-2 count for Del Castillo. He strikes out. And they retire the inning, but not before Naguabo puts up 2 more runs to stretch their lead. They are now up 5-0.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
I don't think we've ever seen back-to-back jacks for a team that we were cheering for.
I don't know if I've ever seen 3 in one game.
There you go.
Wow.
And here comes...
How is Ceiba going to ever recover from this?
Yeah, they have to dissolve the team after this.
Yeah, they have to burn the new stadium and salt the earth.
Exactly. Ted Balloon threw 5 innings, 1 hit. Maybe the prank worked. Maybe switching the numbers was the key. They're like, number 20? Wasn't that Kieran Anderson's number? Oh, yeah, he's a weak hitter. Wait a minute. What do you mean he's on our team now?
Oh, no, there's a home run. I got distracted. Yeah.
Whoops. All right, Ted Balloon, 5 innings pitched, 64 pitches, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts. Faces Gaspar Mendoza, then Manriquez and Vasquez. Mendoza, 1-0 count. Mendoza hits it right to Valdez. He's got it on the line drive. Easy catch for him there. Just put himself in position and grabbed it. And that's out number 1, a fork ball. Ted is going to be happy about that one because he left that one hanging. That could have been an issue.
Yeah.
Out number 1, bases remain empty for Manriquez, who struck out and is therefore 0 for 1, and I think is about to get plunked. There it is!
Ooh,
Ted with his first plunk of the season. I was just thinking about the fact that he hadn't done it yet.
Ted, how could you? You promised this year you'd change. Ted will never change.
Ted, lol, Lamau.
As we sink into the river.
Francisco Vasquez coming up next. He's over 2 against Ted Balloon. He's batting .316, so everybody calm down. This could get interesting still. 0-2 count. Vasquez hits that one too. Second base, Sherlew has it, throws to first, and that's out number 2. Manriquez takes second, and he's got the speed to try for third. Let's see if they challenge Salmeron's arm, which is about the one thing he's got going for him as a defensive catcher. This is not me being just hard on him for no reason. That was the real worry when he took over, that the defense behind the plate would really crater. So far, we have not seen that.
Good.
And if that does happen, he could go back to DHing and backup catching. Damianos Angelopoulos is waiting in the wings for that. Julian Alvarez.
I believe that would be the Hellenic Angelic. Angelic, damn it!
That's right. Julian Alvarez, 1-2 count. He goes down swinging on a fastball, and the score remains unchanged through 6. The Navegadores remain ahead 5-0 after hitting
Woo!
again 3 home runs, and they may have time for more. Before we continue with this ball game, the bottom of this game, we're going to have another word from another of our wonderful sponsors. Louisa, the booth is all yours.
Thank you. Folks, I don't know about you, wherever you are listening, but I'm having kind of a heat wave here today. It's the end of summer. And I want to tell you about artificial ice. Do I have your attention? This is from January of 1871. They're getting a leap on the ice season. A letter from Prussia gives us the following details for a new ice-making device invented by Mr. Frank Windhausen of Brunswick. Firstly, air is condensed at high pressure in a cylinder. Water is then introduced to lower the temperature of the compressed air and to dilate it until the pressure reduces to roughly atmospheric level. It is assured that this procedure results in a notable decrease of temperature. If this air is then introduced in a closed tank simultaneously with a coating of water, the latter immediately becomes ice, for which medium enormous quantities can be obtained without needing any chemical products whatsoever. The author promises to utilize this principle, already perfected, demonstrated by modern thermodynamics, to provide cool, pure air for theaters, hospitals, and boarding houses. Boy, that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? I don't know a whole lot about this idea, but I do have a tiny little bit of personal experience, which is sometimes I cast resin, and I do that in a pressure pot where you raise the air pressure. And sometimes in the summer when you take that lid off when it's all done, it is cold in there. It's a lot colder than it is outside the pressure pot. So there is something there. You have to wonder. I don't know if this truly was working the way it's promising in 1871. We would have had air conditioning a lot sooner. But, maybe it worked on a very small scale. It also makes me think of those ice making machines that can make ice very quickly by having super cooled rods that bend down into a water tank. I wonder if there's something of this about that. Thermodynamics is fascinating, though, isn't it? It's so easy to have an exothermic reaction that makes things hot, and it's so hard to do an endothermic one to make things cold. Tragic this time of year, that's for sure.
Which one did you read?
I read Artificial Ice, so I was
Oh.
talking a little bit about the concepts of exothermic and endothermic reactions.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying his promises here sound really good, but if they had truly worked on the scale that he's promising in 1871, I think we would have had air conditioning sooner.
You would? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. A lot of the Boletín Mercantil's international news really seems to be the equivalent of when I don't know why this is the through line we're choosing, but when Sam Altman claims that within a year, talking to
Mm-hmm.
AI will be able to respond to your thoughts and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. It's all breathless speculation that has no place in reality whatsoever, but you have to do it so that people will be interested at all in what you have already managed to do. Pardon once again the
Yeah.
sudden onset of puberty there.
You're just very emotional about the idea of thermodynamics.
Yes, exactly. Yes, entropy, it's just it's so important.
You can kind of see what you're saying in this, where he has proven he's able to do it with a closed tank, which I assume is, smaller than a person inside a room. So he's made this experiment work. But then he's also just suddenly promising he's going to cool entire theaters with clean, cool air and whole hospitals. And that feels like extrapolating too far.
You know what you just reminded me of is that I remember a few years ago there was a new kind of cooling and I know this because I've listened to your podcast. One of your co-hosts mentioned that there was a new kind of cooling that only used basically just water to cool, not really any
Yeah.
freon or anything else, and that so far it was only really in use in industrial uh, buildings, basically. And I
Mhm.
just realized that those industrial buildings are probably data centers.
Yeah, that's probably right too.
Yeah, that bleak, bleak,
Yeah. Let's go back to the wonderful times of 1871 where people are promising to cool hospitals.
and public buildings and theaters. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Back when there was a public. I remember a few months ago I had to go to a public library for there was a thing happening and I needed to be in the area. So I go to this public library and I'm looking for a place to plug in my phone
Mhm.
because it had already lost a lot of charge. We'd driven about 90 minutes. And I'm looking for a place to plug in my phone. This older guy sees me, clearly lost, no idea what I'm doing, and he goes, "Sir, what are you looking for?" And I'm like, "I need a plug to charge my phone." And he's like, "Oh," and he actually tried to offer me the plug that was on top of the table where he had his computer plugged in, but I didn't
Mhm.
realize that that was there. So I get under the table to plug in my phone. I do that, and I go, "Are you sure? Can I? Sorry to bother you, but..." And he goes, "You're not bothering me." And then he goes, "This is a public library. We're Publix."
Nice.
It's a
That's
good
good.
one.
That gives you some hope for humanity, huh?
Yes, it sure does. Okay, here we go. Top of the seventh, Uranio Mata, 103 pitches over 6 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Faces Shirley, Valdez, and Bach after an inning where he gave up back-to-back home runs to Pablito Salmerón and Kim Min-soo, who does not have a nickname yet officially, but I do unofficially call him Cordon Alvarez. Korean
Hmm.
Jordan Alvarez. That's the
Okay,
joke.
interesting. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out where ribbons entered into this, but I couldn't. Like cordon
Rubens?
bleu.
Oh,
Ribbons.
ribbons. Ribbons, I see. Shirley, 2-2 count. And he strikes out. Mata gets him. Sixth strikeout of the night for him. He'll face Valdez next, who is 0 for 1. 1-2 count for Valdez. Valdez, crack hit off of Mata, and his dominance over the man just continues. Vasquez lets it drop in front of him, as that's a single for Valdez, and now they are in trouble. Benji, with his speed, should be standing on second any minute now. Here goes Wally Balk. He's over 2 on the day. Let's see how many pitches it takes them. Man on first and 1 out. There goes Valdez. Is he going to make it in? He does, easily. That's his second stolen base of the season. So, with a man on in scoring position now and 1 out, what will Wally Balk do? 1-2 count. Strikes out. Mata gets strikeout number 7 on a slider down and in. And here comes Ham Underwood. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Man on second, 2 outs. It's now or never. 1-1 count. Ham, a roller right back to the pitcher. Mata has it. And he's out.
On a ham roll. Sad. The ham rolls betrayed me.
Okay, well, give me a second while I collect myself before our next segment. We're just going to let this organ. Wait, seriously? You stop there? Normally the entire thing plays whenever I'm recording.
Oh, yes.
Alright, hang on. I need to compose myself here before
Okay.
we continue. Okay, here we go. So, as we've been doing this year, we're including a poetry reading as part of our games during the 7th inning stretch. Today, because we're playing Ceiba, which is the name of a tree, I am reading La Ceiba by Puerto Rican poet Luis Pales Matos. Pales Matos was a practitioner especially well known for his ability with what would now be called Afro-Boricua poetry, the rhythms of Afro-Boricua music, words of African origin, very present in his poetry. I've read him out loud before for a school activity, and you can absolutely feel the beat of the verse in a way that not every Puerto Rican poet made as clear in how they wrote. So it's quite a different style to what you usually see. Certainly in the 19th century, a lot of other poets were inspired by European forms of poetry, by Spanish forms of poetry, or were even looking to the classical world and using their reception of it to inform theirs. Pares Matos honors the African traditions that, unfortunately are part of the history of suffering in the Caribbean and slavery. But he respects them enough to make them part of the music of his poetry. And so he says, La ceiba sobre el cauce se dobla bondadosa, quebrando la fonía de la áfona llanura. Con su voz de matrona, la ceiba caprichosa tiene el ramaje loco de una rara locura. Ella entraña el recuerdo, recóndito y fragante, de una princesa india de pupila moruna, que se sumergió en el río su cuerpo palpitante, bajo la anemia crónica de la pálida luna. Ella ofrenda su sombra tutelar al viajero nostálgico de calma. El ruiseñor parlero entona entre sus ramas fervientes sonatinas. La ceiba es una madre que sobre el río largo expande su paraguas enorme. Y sin embargo, la ceiba tiene el tronco pletórico de espinas. It talks about the ceiba tree's function as providing shade to travelers, a home for birds to sing, how it has been there historically on the island since the time of the Taino and so on. But then it mentions that at the end, despite all of these very motherly things about the ceiba, it does in fact have a trunk covered in spines.
Mm. That's what you need, right?
Apparently so, yeah, and I think in some ways very symbolic of the island as a whole, right? We are a very familiar and friendly people, but we can be prickly when challenged.
Hmm.
And here's hoping that the Puerto Ricans on Ceibas lineup want to be prickly because it's the bottom of the seventh and they're running out of outs to work with here. Ted
Yeah,
Ballounis
really.
threw 6 innings on 80 pitches, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, and if he gets any more efficient, he could pitch a complete game shutout in under 100 pitches. Unlikely, but possible. He faces Philoxenos Gutierrez, who is still the only person to have gotten a hit off of him today. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout. And here on the 1-1 count, he will get a second hit off of Ted Balloon as that goes to Ham over there in center field. Yes, we're going to replay that. They've gotten 2 hits all game. We're going to honor that. So with Gutierrez at first this time, here comes Menendo Tafoya. He's over 2. Ted Balloon, 83 pitches, man on first, no outs. Let's see what he breaks. Let's see what he breaks out of the Cracker Jack box here. 2-2 count, and he gets him. Ted Balloon notches strikeout number 8 on a high fastball, blowing him by the shoulder. And here comes Kieran Anderson to try and extend the inning. Nope, pardon me, only 1 out. 2-2 count. Anderson! Fly out into right field, but not quite high enough to get out of the park. He hit it hard, but that high wall was always going to be in the way, and then Castillo has it for out number 2. Oh, look at that bridge.
Wow, that's a heck of a bridge.
It absolutely is. Here comes Felipe Uribe, who's over 2 on the day. Thank God somebody finally hit one to right field. Oh, wait. 2 other people did. I wonder where those baseballs are now.
It's a mystery.
Exactly. 0-2 count. Felipe Uribe goes down swinging balloon. Has, I believe that to be 9 strikeouts on the night. We are through 7. The Navegadores remain ahead 5-0. Here comes Rob Feaster. You know why I think Ham hasn't been able to get anything going in this ball game?
Why is that?
He didn't change his number. He's not joining in on the prank, so they know who he is.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because they don't wear
On his
names on the
birthday.
back of their jerseys, so the number is all
Yeah.
you have to go by.
True.
I mean, they all have absurd facial hair, so... Just look at the Ceiba pictures. What is this? What is any of that?
Yeah, it's like he hates goatees, so he's gonna have everything but that. No
Right.
goatee.
It's like he was getting a haircut earlier today, and he told the barber, you can start with a beard, and then he realized that first pitch was actually an hour earlier than he thought it was, and he needed to go run to the ballpark.
He leaped up out of the chair as the barber's holding the razor right to his chin.
Exactly.
Ugh.
7 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts on 119 pitches. He faces Feaster, Gettman, and Salmerón. Feaster is 0 for 2 on the day. He's got a walk, a run scored. He's 0 for 2 otherwise, and he will be 0 for 3 as he becomes strikeout victim number 8 on a slider. On 125 pitches, here comes Jake Gettman, who's gotten to watch as 2 other guys hit homers today, but he, a man who has won the home run derby, a man who has won Ilustrísimo on the back of hitting homers, somehow has not done this. Is this the time? He's 1 for 2 with an RBI. Let's see what happens. First pitch. 1 out, base is empty. Gettman hits one up the middle, and this change in approach is really working for him. That's another base hit, and Gettman's on base yet again today. Have you noticed? So we've got 4 Navegadores who have reached base off of their own bats. Gettman, Salmerón, Kim, and Valdez so far.
Yeah, true.
Salmerón's 1 for 3 with that homer. Mata sitting on 126 pitches. He's got Gettman.
Oh, sorry. I do have a question. Is it baseball convention to say someone got on base if they hit a home run, even though they didn't actually spend any time standing on a base?
Yes.
Okay.
It is counted as part of their on-base percentage. It is counted as part of their total bases. It's worth 4 bases. And
Makes sense.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, basically, you did not, because
You completed all the bases, essentially.
right. Yes, that's a good way of thinking about it, because otherwise, for example, I know what the qualitative difference is here, but that would be like saying that first base doesn't count if you hit a double. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So here we go.
All right.
Ooh, Salmerón going out to a first pitch? No, Gettman is stealing second, and Kieran Anderson once
Yay!
again cannot stop him. Kieran Anderson is 1 for some number at this point. And Gettman in scoring position with an embarrassing run at this point. 1 out, man on second, 1-0 count on Salmerón. A 2-2 count. He hit a solo jack last time, and here he strikes out. Salmerón goes down swinging on the sinker, and it's 2 outs with a man on second for Kim Min-soo. Currently tied for the lead in batting average on his ball club, but he is in the lead in home runs. He's already hit 2 today. And I don't want to push it, but if he hit a third one, I believe he would become the first Asian player of Asian heritage to do so.
That would be so amazing if he did right now.
1 count. Oh my God. That is out of here.
No.
Kim Min-soo
Let me!
just hit 3 home runs in a single game.
How is this possible? I can't
What
believe it.
is he doing?
Even further than his other ones. What?
This is unbelievable.
How? How did he do it?
I mean,
How
he's
could this happen?
huge, ultimately. That's really the main reason. He's a big boy.
That's true.
Wow. Just destroyed that slider.
I would not have joked so flippantly about him doing it if I thought he was actually going to do it.
But here we are. He sure did.
Yeah.
The Navegadores are ahead 7-0 as Min-soo hits his third home run of the game and probably gets himself put under league investigation.
I feel like he's making a point of showing off because when they had him down in the minors, he didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't think he was a fan.
Yeah.
So, number 20, for the record, by the way, Kim Min-soo. So last year he hit 4 home runs all season.
Wow.
Now, granted, he only got 244 at-bats, over which he hit those 4 home runs. But, again, he's hit 3 in 4 at-bats this time.
Yeah. He wasn't exactly doing 75% last year.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, the Picudos, that will finally end Uranio Mata's day, although they're playing a little bit here because the new guy now pitching for the Picudos de Ceiba, number 29, and they put a guy out with the same initials, Urias Macancela.
That's great.
I assume this is because after he hit that third home run, Matt Sparkman just turned to the bullpen and went,
What are you going to do?
Macancela has a fastball, a changeup, a sinker, and a splitter. Technically, he has a curveball. Let's not talk about it.
He put it on his resume, but, you know.
Exactly, yes. He will face Del Castillo, who is quite a bit worse against lefties, so this should be interesting. 2 outs and the base is empty. Macancela on the 3-1 count. Del Castillo struck out twice here, and he hits that one right to the shortstop. They go overhand with that, and they finish the top of the 8th here. Naguabo head 7-0. As we head to the bottom half of the inning, Aldape, Mendoza, and Manriquez to face Ted Balloon, who is on 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts. Now again, I know I'm jinxing it by saying this. Hey, C. Seiler, how you doing? Turns out today the Navegadores did not need the good luck charm, as you can see from the score. You have missed a good deal of excitement. Luisa, you want to fill him in?
We have seen... How many home runs? Now I'm lost.
4.
We've seen 4 today, unbelievably.
3 of them from the same guy, Kim Min-soo, the designated hitter.
Yeah. Incredible.
Brutal for the Picudos. For us, this is great. So Ted Balloon, I don't want to jinx it, but he's got 96 pitches on 7 innings, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts. Technically, if he strikes out every remaining hitter, he could get to 15.
Mm-hmm.
So that's certainly an option. That would be cool. The first time he struck out 15, he actually struck out 17 and lost the game.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm. So, Aldape, well, he will not be going down on strikes because he's going after that first pitch into center field. Ham Underwood, plenty of time to get underneath it, and he's got it. That's out number 1.
Nice.
Here comes Gaspar Mendoza. Says C. Seiler, gotta go get dinner. Don't mess it up, Naves. Gaspar Mendoza, 0 for 2 on the day.
It would be incredible if they could mess it up at this point.
Honestly. 0-1 count, and Sherlou will run all the way in to get it. Out number 2. Here comes Carlos Manriquez. Remember him? He's the one Balloon hit.
Yeah, that's not nice. Look at him. He's so sad. He's been so sad all game.
Exactly. He's 0 for 1. 1-1 count. Manriquez with a good crack, but it's right to Feaster. And he's out. We're through 8 innings. The Navegadores get another clean one as we head into the top of the 9th. Sherlou, Valdez, and Bach will face Macancela, but not before. We have one last item from the land of history. And this time we're taking you to the 20th century because, as it turns out, April 1st, 1901 was a very important day in Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña history. Why is that, Luisa?
That's because, in that year, on April 1st, Brian Turney, the Assassin, pitches a 5-0 shutout for the Soles de Liquijo. against our beloved Navegadores. And why is this game notable? Well, Naguabo pitcher Carter Patullo, one of the first Canadian pitchers in LNP history, gave up the first 2 home runs of the 20th century before any other pitcher had even given up one to Noe Barragan and Simonides Hidalgo. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Although we toss around terms like 2 home runs in a game, and suddenly, in this game, that seems less impressive.
Yeah. 1901 was the Homer happiest year of the 1900s so far. How is beyond me. I'm guessing a bunch of the pitchers had just started eating again regular food a month before.
Yeah.
But despite that, right? Despite the fact that this is true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I sure lost my train of thought on that one. Hang on. I got this. Nobody worry. Nothing to see here, folks. We got this under control. Despite that fact, I don't remember a lot of games where a guy was just getting absolutely wrecked by home runs. Unless you're specifically talking about Ciales pitcher Chet Albert, who I think gave up like 35 home runs that year.
Jeez.
And he was Canadian, so really it was just kind of bad pitching on his end. He never adapted, really.
Was he fired after that year? You have to imagine.
I want to say so. Or he was traded, I want to say, to Carolina. He was on Ciales at the time. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, speaking of which, Patullo got traded to Guaynabo, pitched a no-hitter, and shut out the Navegadores later on down the line. Those are 2 separate games. The no-hitter was not against the Naves. So, but It's very funny that he shut out his old team.
Yeah, it is.
I believe that happened to the Naves more recently. I think either Chatwin or Villarreal, who got traded to Moca, one of the 2 of them shut them out in a game. Let's see, what else? Noe Barragan is now in Gurabo and was one of the honor selections for Puerto Rico in the Copa.
Mm-hmm.
And Simonides Hidalgo, I think, just retired. I think he's the only one of them who is still... Oh, and Brian Turney, the assassin, now pitches for Toa Baja. So, Simonides Hidalgo retired, but I think none of these guys is still playing for the Soles at this point.
Okay.
And we know none of the Naves would still be there because Ted Balloon was none of them. And he's the only Navegador from 1901 left. So...
Mm-hmm.
So here in the top of the 9th, Urias Macancela. He got through 1 out on 5 pitches, and he will now face Shirley, Valdez, and Bach. Shirley is over 3 on the day. Let's see if he wants to join the hit parade here. 1-0 count. He does not. That is right back to Aldape. Throws over to Macancela at first, and that's out number 1. Bases empty and out, and 1 out for Benji Valdez, who's 1 for 2. Now, of course, he's no longer facing a pitcher that he absolutely owns, so this should be interesting. 0-1 count. He hits that one up the middle. Benji Valdez has another hit in this game. Maybe he didn't realize it was a different pitcher, even though this guy's lefty.
Yeah.
He's just like, listen, I see ball, I hit ball. Who throws the ball? Irrelevant. And here comes Wally Bach, who's 0 for 3 on the day. It would be very fun if he joined the Dinger party here.
Mm-hmm.
1 out, 1 on. Wally Bach, first pitch, Benji Valdez. And once again, Anderson cannot stop him stealing.
Yeah. Nobody can.
Yeah, that is, interesting. They did not count that as a stolen base.
Oh.
Are they counting that? Is that defensive indifference? No, this says he steals second base. No throw. So why didn't they count it for him? Huh. Interesting. All right. I guess because there wasn't a throw, so it doesn't count as a steal because it wasn't contested. Yeah.
Well, then shouldn't it count as indifference?
It does, but defensive indifference does not count as a stolen base.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you said it wasn't showing up for that either. Or was that? Did it?
Yeah,
Did it later?
it showed as in he steals second base, no throw. Sometimes when you see that notation, it does count as a steal because the catcher tried to throw and couldn't. But I guess this time
Okay.
Anderson just stood up and basically just said, screw it. Have second base. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah. Can't blame him.
Exactly. Man on second, 0-1 count, 1 out. Wally Balk on the 1-1 pitch. Hits that one to Aldape. And it's an unassisted out at first. Valdez moves to third, and here comes Ham Underwood. He's got another chance. He's got 2 hits and 6 at-bats against Magancela, so he's got a shot here. Let's see what he
Come on,
does.
Ham.
Anything else you want to say? Any other pep talk you want to give him before he...
I want to say happy birthday, and the most important thing is that you just have fun out there. I would love to see a hit, but it's okay if you don't get one.
All right. You heard the lady, Ham. 0-2 count. Hits that one into the air, and it drops right in the basket for Vasquez.
Oh, well.
So the Navegadores get a hit, and that's it. They're still in the lead 7-0 as we go into the bottom of the 9th. Ted Balloon will face Vasquez, Alvarez, and Gutierrez, still in search of the double-digit strikeouts. He's through 8 innings on 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, 102 pitches, and just in case things decide to go wrong here, which would be admittedly very funny, we're going to have Chet Hancock in the pen, just in case. Here comes Francisco Vasquez, who's 0 for 3 on the day. On the 1-2 count, Vasquez. And down he goes. Strikeout number 10 for Ted Balloon. Change up this time, and 6 more pitches on the line. Here comes Julian Alvarez. He's 0 for 3. 1-1 count with the bases empty and 1 out. He's struck out twice. And here he extends the inning. Julian Alvarez becomes the first Picudo not named Filoxenos Gutierrez to get a hit today.
Yeah, amazing.
So it'll be a single, and I can't see Alvarez's speed ratings, but yeah, as a center fielder, I imagine they'd be pretty good. So let's see if he tries for it. Here comes Filoxenos Gutierrez, who's 2 for 3 on the day. Let's see if he wants to make it a 3-hit night. 1-1. Gutierrez, center field, Shambhala! It's a 3-hit night indeed.
Amazing.
2 on, 1 out as Ted Balloon now faces Menendo Tafoya, formerly of Loíza, which had a real penchant for not developing their own third baseman. That was a thing for a while. They'd have one, and then they'd trade him. That happened like 3 times in a row. Very strange, specific pattern for a team.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's over 3 on the day. Let's see if he can make this embarrassing for Ted. That is to Shirley. They get the out at second, as Valdez can't make the throw to first, Alvarez to third, and Kieran Anderson, the Navegador, comes up. Now, he's had 3 at-bats against Balloon and has yet to get a hit off of him. Hancock is ready if he needs to step in, but let's see if Kieran Anderson can get some of his own back, because otherwise, they're going to start thinking the other team is still paying him. Full count. Anderson, fly out, left field to Gettman, and he's got it. That's the ball game.
Woo!
Naguabo shuts out Ceiba on 4 hits, 7 runs. Ted Balloon strikes out 10, and we got to see 1, 2, 3, 4 home runs, 3 of them off the bat of Kim Min-soo.
Incredible.
What a game. Pardon me, sorry. I kept saying Matt Sparkman. My guy's name is Mark Sparkman.
Oh no, even worse.
Mark the Marksman Sparkman?
He's sponsored by Marks and Spencer's.
Exactly. Give me just 1 second. I always forget what the controls are here for this guy, for banning people.
Ah, yes.
There we go. Sorry, you were saying?
He's sponsored by Marks and Spencer's. Marks and Sparks.
Yes, M&S, yes. Marks and Sparks sounds like the 2017 Twitter version of Marks and Spencer's.
And yet my grandmother says it, so...
Marks and Sparks?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Okay.
And she is from Newcastle upon Tyne, so I have to assume if Ham Underwood was alive today, he would be saying that as well.
Was M&S around at this time?
I have no idea. There's a good chance, but also it might not have been at all. I have no idea.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Ted Balloon gets player of the game. No, he does not, despite the fact that the news article is about him. Kim Min-soo wins player of the game, more like Kim Win-soo, for tying the Betances regular season game record for home runs. He hit 3 in one game. The only person to have hit more is Grant Johnson of the Hechiceros de Guayama, who hit 4 in one game.
Incredible.
We've also got, in the hit column today, we really only have 4 players. Gettman hit 2 and scored 2 runs on top of stealing 3 bases, which is pretty crazy. Rob Feaster drew a walk and scored a run on 2 steals despite not getting a hit in today's game. Pablo Salmerón had 1 hit, which was his solo homer. And Min-soo Kim, of course, 5 runs batted in, 3 hits, 3 runs. His 3 home runs, and then you've got Benji Valdez contributing 2 more hits, 2 more steals. Weirdly, didn't score, and a walk.
Yeah.
Uranio Mata takes a pretty embarrassing loss here, puts himself in an early lead for most home runs given up this season. I'm sure that'll improve. There's no way any bat stays this hot, but, this is a hell of a start. I don't think we've seen a game like this from the Naves in a while.
No, we certainly have not.
So yeah, are you excited for the 1907 season now?
Yeah, definitely. Remember the point in this game when we were like, it seems kind of mid, this game.
They heard us. They heard us
They
talking
did.
shit.
They really did.
By the way, I just want to point out that the 4 hits that Ceiba did put across, one of them came from Julian Alvarez, the other 3 from Philoxenos Gutierrez, who is batting .750. So, just to say, they were trying as hard as they could, but against that Ted Balloon changeup, they were getting absolutely nothing going.
Yeah.
I am sorry to say that I don't know what our broadcast next week will be. It will probably be, if we're able to do one, well, there are 2 possibilities, basically. We will either be doing a Navegadores game, or we might be doing a very out of left field podcast. Hey, Kristen, it says 4-hit shutout. Nice. Well, yeah, unfortunately, it took him a lot more than that number of pitches, but I don't even think, could you, I mean, technically, if you get every out on 1 pitch, you could theoretically get there. Not the point. We don't have time to do math right now. Next week, we'll either be back with another Naves game so we can keep seeing if this lineup is gelling as well as it should be, or we may change up the gears. We may have a different thing going on. Not a Naves game, possibly not even a game at all.
How mysterious.
Exactly, so we'll see. But before we let you go, Louisa, any final thoughts?
Yes. My final thought, and I think you will appreciate this, is I know Pablo Salmerón is your personal guy, your special guy, and you kind of consider him an underdog. And he does good work, but he kind of gets overshadowed. The fact that he hit the first home run in the 1907 season, and immediately this game became about something else entirely, is really just more proof of that, isn't it?
Unfortunately, that would be true. But unfortunately, it was Kim who hit that first home run in the 4th inning.
All right. Then let me adjust how I'm saying this. He hit a home run in the very first game of the season and has been eclipsed completely.
Yes, it is very funny that he finally shows exactly how hard he can hit a ball, and what happens is the guy hitting behind him says, "Oh, I'll show you a home run."
Imagine walking around town, no one is going to be talking about your home run that you hit. Exactly. Unbelievable.
Yep. Brutal. That's for being a catcher. That's the life of a catcher. They're kind of the stuntmen of baseball teams, in that they also have no cartilage left in their knees. All right, gente, we're gonna go. We're gonna let you go. Thank you for being with us for this one. Um, we're probably not gonna go back to this exact time, but we'll keep playing around with start times and see if we find something that people seem to like. Because obviously the point is to have you around. It's fun to be with you. It's fun to talk to you. Hear you making fun of the players, have you join in on stuff. That's really the point of this. But until then, as always, this has been Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. Gente, buenas noches, gracias mil y Dios les bendiga.